Rev up your engines!
Well, Toyota's setting a record for selling their hydrogen-based cars. Now, the sales of their hydrogen cars was up 1,016%. Okay, so you think, whoa, wow, the sales up over 1,000%. Well, realize this, quarter of the year, 3 months, they only sold 882 of these things. Hydrogen fuel cell cars, yeah. An interesting idea, right? Here's a cool invisible picture. You can see how the things work with the hydrogen fuel cell and electric motors. And James May of the original Top Gear, I like them much better than the crap that Top Gear has now. It was much better when the original three guys are on. Well, James May said that the Toyota Mirai hydrogen fuel cell car was the best car he ever had that he had to get rid of because there's no place to get hydrogen, right? They haven't increased the hydrogen infrastructure. Now, this is something that's way, way in the future. It's totally doable, but you would need a supply of clean hydrogen. You would need all the gas stations to have it. And realize the main reason people do this is to stop pollution, right? Most of the hydrogen created today is dirty hydrogen. It's created from petrochemicals and stuff. So most of it's dirty. It's still polluting like mad, right? If somebody figures out how to make hydrogen out of seawater efficiently, and then we got all this hydrogen lying around, right? Then yeah, these would be perfectly fine, the fuel cell cars, right? But that's a long, long way in the future. And the fact that their sales are up over 1,000%, they still only sold 882 of them. You know, this is a niche thing. It's interesting technology. Who knows if they can scale it up at any affordable thing, because obviously Toyota's losing money building the things now, selling such a small amount of them. It is doable, but if you think our electrical grid is not set up for electric cars, well, we don't even have a hydrogen grid yet, so... Night Worker says, I'm thinking about buying a used vehicle out of state. I live in Maine, and I want to get a nice Lexus or Toyota, but everything's rusted away in Maine. I can't find these vehicles in Maine, so is it too much of a risk to buy out of state? The process looks frightening. It is kind of a hassle. You know, a lot of people do. They go on vacation somewhere and they look at cars there. Or if you got relatives somewhere, go there. There's a guy here in Rhode Island. He's looking for a car. He's got a son and daughter-in-law live in Texas. They're going down to Texas this winter. He's going to look for cars while he's down there. Or some people just, they see what's out there, and if they think it's a good deal, they fly out there and check the car. If it's a junker, they fly back. Now, you're gambling with buying a ticket and stuff, right? Of course, if you drive a car, it's a lot cheaper than not gambling. Take a little vacation. Look at cars in areas like Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, where it's dry, where the snow doesn't fly down much. They don't use salt, and you can find lots of cars that are in decent shape. Or there are guys that sell used cars that do that for you. I've seen a lot of people in New England here. Nice part of New England, I guess, you know. They really don't think of themselves as New Englanders, man. They're Maine, they're independent people, but regardless, it's the same area, right? There's guys that they go down to Florida, they go to Arizona, Texas, they buy cars, they bring them to the East Coast and sell them. They sell them like hotcakes because they can show you, look, show you the title. This thing has lived in these states all of its years. Look at it, there it is, no rust. There are guys that sell those things. Try to find them in your area. I've had people here in Rhode Island get some beautiful Florida cars. Guy just does business, brings them from Florida. You don't even have to go to Florida. He does the work, and then you buy the car. X Magnum says, I'm going to tow an RV trailer with a 29-year-old truck. I got a 95 F350 crew cab, 150,000 miles, automatic tranny with a 460. I plan on using it to call RV trailer. Truck was well maintained. Any known issues? What should I look out for? Okay, the weakest thing on all those Fords are their automatic transmissions. Right? You say it's working okay. Hey, change the filter and fluid in the tranny every 50,000 miles and see what happens. I've had people have those, and I mean, push comes to shove. So the automatic transmission goes out. It's a 95. Those were simpler transmissions. You can get factory rebuilt units. Customers of mine in Texas for years that had old Fords, when the trannies went out, they would put a Ford factory rebuilt automatic transmission, and maybe the original one went 180, 190,000. These rebuilt ones go just about the same if they're factory rebuilt, and then you could just put that in. That's the main thing, is the automatic transmission. If it's going good now, just maintain it. You never know, you might get lucky. But that'll be the first thing to go out because of the weight that you're pulling. J. Homer 42 says, can I do a compression test on my engine? I got an ES300, my battery's disconnected, the transmission is only partially installed. Can I do a compression test? I want to see if my engine's strong. All right, well, you don't have your transmission on, the starter bolts on the transmission and the engine, so you can't start it with the cranker. But take the spark plugs out, get yourself a long extension bar with a socket that fits on the front bolt in the middle of your crank pulley, right in the bottom where all the fan belts are. Just stick it, and you can turn the whole engine over manually and do a compression test. It goes up, it goes down, and it's still going to do the same compression, only you're turning it by hand. And you could do a compression test that way. It's totally doable. It's not that hard to turn an engine around like that. Just do it carefully and do all of them and see what the pressure is. Now, it's going to be doing it one at a time slowly, so I would do at least 2 or 3 turns around and then see what the pressure is at the end. Don't just do it once, turn around like 3 times for each cylinder, but you can do the compression test. You'll be spinning it over by hand. It's totally doable. Son of Adam says, Scotty, how do I pick up an old pickup truck in 2023 with $5,000? Start looking around estate sales, people who died, people who joined the army, whatever. $5,000 isn't much these days, but I don't know what kind of a pickup you want. Let's say you don't mind a little pickup. Look at old Toyota pickup trucks, right? You're going to get one. It's going to have a lot of miles on it, but they can run 400,000 or 500,000 miles. So if you buy one with 180,000 miles and it's a Toyota pickup truck, it's probably still got a lot of life left in it, right? So my grandson did, and he's still driving it 3 years later. That's what I would advise. Start looking around, asking people. Stay away from the car lots, because if they've got a pickup for sale for $5,000, they probably paid $1,000 for it, right? You're better going on the street and buying it for $1,000 yourself and then putting money to fix it rather than getting his markup, right? You want to look around, tell everybody you know, here's what I'm looking for. And don't poo-poo. Nissan Frontiers are okay. You're going to get them cheaper, right? They cost less. The Ford Rangers are okay in general. You can get them a lot cheaper than a Toyota. And start looking around, see somebody joined the army, somebody died, grandpa died, his truck's in there. That's how you're going to find one that's in that price range. Well, Cruise, the self-driving cars have now ceased operations everywhere in the United States. They shut them all down. All I have to say is, I told you so. Artificial intelligence with electric cars. Talk about a horrible mix, right? As I've said many times. You wonder, why do they keep pushing this crap? Well, because they put billions into it and they refuse to admit that they screwed up. So now they can't run them because they shut them down in Texas, and now they shut them down everywhere. Now, if you shut down in Texas, you shut down everywhere, right? They were in California for a while, but they're all nuts there. So what do you expect? And even there, everybody complained. The police complained, the ambulance complained, people complained. They got an accident on a Golden Gate Bridge, I guess, or one of those big bridges in California in the bay there. They aren't ready for prime time, people. Maybe they never will be. Maybe they can have a nice thing where they have their own little roads, fine, you know, like a train. Train drives on a train track, right? Relatively safe, right? As long as you take care of the tracks. Well, if the robot taxis have their own roads to go on, that'd probably be okay, you know? But not mixed with humans driving down the road. That's just plain stupidity. And anybody that thinks you can make a machine that'll work that way is out of their minds. So if you got machines driving wild people, you don't know what they're going to do. They might make a U-turn, they might do this, they might do that, and then the robo-taxis might see something the wrong way. Thank goodness they stopped it for the time being. You know they're going to be back, because these people aren't going to admit they blew billions of dollars. They'll keep throwing this crap out there. But hopefully people will wise up, and it'll go slower and slower, and maybe eventually somebody will say, why are we spending all this money on a stupid idea, right? James Nemo says, stop buying Wix Filters. The customer service guy refused to warranty 7 other filters that they agreed were assembled wrong at the factory. I gave him the thread information, I matched the build dates. The guy at Wix said, it's not their problem. They said, go talk to who you bought them from. We don't care. And I bought them from the New Parts storefront. Don't buy from the company Wix. They wouldn't stand behind it. They said, go back to the guy you bought it from. And the guy you bought it from said, oh no, too bad, it's too old. They admit that they built a whole bunch of these filters wrong. And neither the company that made it or this crappy website called New Parts wouldn't give him his money back. So don't deal with Wix and don't deal with New Parts. That's a problem when you buy things online. The company that built it, Wix, they're being scumbags. They should have just refunded the guy's money. Maybe they will now after they see this video. But it's disgusting that this guy bought a bunch of filters for his car, 7, and they're all inferior filters. They admit they built them wrong, and they won't give him his money back. And the people that sold it to him, New Parts is the name of it, but I would stay away from New Parts parts too if I were you. Get even with these people. You got a problem? Send it to me. I'll talk about it. Maybe they don't care about you. Obviously they don't. Neither the person who made it or the person that sold it to you is going to give you the money back, even though it's the company Wix admitted that they're bad parts, so if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.